what he posted online. One day I've got to do a Doctor Who retrospective. There's a very special reason as to why I'm such a big fan of Doctor Who. And just seeing the choices that Dean made for different incarnations of the Doctor, which breed of cat he chose. It brought a smile to my face, made me chuckle at the same time. I said, oh, that's spot on. That is just perfect. The one aspect of Dean's art which I love the most, though, is his work with wrestling characters. Just like superheroes, professional wrestlers, very colorful, very over-the-top characters. I say even more so than superheroes. And Dean's love of professional wrestling is clear in his artwork. He has done so many great commissions and prints of professional wrestlers, whether they be wrestlers who have existed in the real world, like in WWF/WWE, or wrestlers that he has created for himself or for other people. He's just very skilled at drawing wrestlers, making certain poses, like flexing their muscles like they're wont to do. He's very good at illustrating wrestlers who are in the ring, grappling with each other. The poses are very realistic, and that certainly comes across in Headlocks and Headaches. Dean is someone who does his work for the love of the craft. He doesn't work for DC or Marvel, although I wish to goodness that one of the many comics publishers out there would take a look at Dean's work and offer him some work, because he could bring something really unique to the table. His work would certainly stand out from the quote-unquote house style that we tend to see at DC and Marvel. At the very least, I'd love to see WWE and the company that's currently licensed to print and publish WWE comics give Dean a call and say, why don't you come work for us? Just looking at Dean's work online, he certainly knows how to draw wrestlers from the past. One print that comes to mind, it's really poignant now given that George the Animal Steele passed away some time ago, but this illustration shows the animal, and he's sitting in a field, and he's sitting right at the headstones of Macho Man Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth, and a tear is coming down his cheek, but in the cloud you see Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth back together again and smiling down upon the animal. It's just a really heartfelt piece, just really captures Dean's love and understanding of the history of professional wrestling. So if any of you listeners out there work for DC or Marvel or another comics publisher, and you're looking for somebody who can bring something new to your company, please seek out Dean Stahl. He's a very busy man. Like so many of us, he has a quote-unquote regular 9-to-5 job. And so the work that he does is during his time away from his, again, quote-unquote regular work. It's just amazing to see the passion which he puts into his work. Okay, so now I would like to get into a synopsis of Headlocks and Headaches. Again, I'm trying to keep this as spoiler-free as possible, but I do have to mention certain key character names, tease you with certain plot points. But again, this synopsis here is not meant to replace your personal reading and enjoyment of Headlocks and Headaches. It is available. All three issues are available on Comixology for a very, very, very reasonable price indeed. So even if you're just a casual wrestling fan, you're just looking for something different, the whole series you can get for about $4. And I think just to give something new a try, $4 is not too much to ask. It is not a burden at all. So I'll give you my synopsis of Headlocks and Headaches, and then I want to talk about why I enjoyed this series so much. Actually, just before I get into that, full disclosure, I do know Dean, and so there is that possible bias there. But at the same time, I read Headlocks and Headaches before I got talking with Dean online, and I purchased this series myself. Dean did not give this to me for free. So, beside the fact that I consider Dean a friend, I'm reviewing this series because I purchased it. I was pleased with the purchase, and I felt it was worthy for me to discuss here on the show. So with that said, let's get into the synopsis. And it opens up with a birthday party for young Donald Peterson, who is a pretty big wrestling fan, along with the other boys who are attending his birthday party. Now, they were looking forward to seeing the main event pay-per-view show, but Donald's mother gives her son a surprise. It's a visit from Goozle, one of the wrestlers from the Incredible Wrestling Federation. Goozle is not just a gimmick wrestler. On the outside, he looks like a green-skinned alien wearing a white and purple suit. But he literally is an alien, which is really cool. Because, in WCW, WWE, other leagues, we've seen different wrestlers who are dressed up as aliens or monsters or the undead. But how neat is it here that the Incredible Wrestling Federation has a literal alien? And there are a couple of things that Goozle does in the course of this three-parter that shows us that he is not from this planet. Now, as you can imagine, the party transitions to a live Incredible Wrestling event where Donald and his friends, of course, get into shenanigans backstage. And over the course of the first two issues of Headlocks and Headaches, we see that there are several plot threads which are going on, which have started either prior to issue 1 of Headlocks and Headaches or during issue 1 of Headlocks and Headaches. The first plot thread is that of two wrestlers who are looking to battle it out for the Incredible Wrestling Federation Championship. It's Drake versus Rocky. And Drake is the current champion, and he's been the champion for quite some time. And there's a reason why he's held the championship for so long. And Rocky is the contender. Rocky is a female wrestler. And so Drake, to begin with, does not look forward to challenges to his title in general, but to get a challenge from a female wrestler, that really strikes his ego. And so Drake and Rocky both approach the owner of the Incredible Wrestling Federation, Mr. Ed Matthews. And Matthews is someone who is struggling as the Federation's owner. he's facing financial hardships, and there is a connection between his financial hardship and Drake's championship reign. But there's also a challenge that has been issued from the Hardcore Championship Wrestling League, a challenge which will threaten to make Matthews enter the ring to defend his federation's hold on a Prime TV time slot that the HCW wants. And we get other matches throughout Headlocks and Headaches. We see the Bull and the Eagle versus Lock and Load. Bull and Eagle are quite endearing. They're classic face characters. They both come from other wrestling federations where they face certain trials and tribulations there, and so they're looking for a fresh start in the Incredible Wrestling Federation. We see Goozle versus Chocolate Thunder. We see Sam Crow versus Agent Ryan of the Secret Service. So some really neat gimmick wrestling going on here. Even Donald's brother faces So Did Jack in one match. Now, like any great WrestleMania, all of these plot threads have a very satisfying ending with things left open for future Incredible Wrestling Federation stories. And at the end of issue 3, Dean States said, "This is the end of Headlocks and Headaches for now, and he may return to this story one day. And I do hope that he will return with a new story arc. But for now, as he tells us in issue number 3, he is going to be trying something else in a different genre. And I did ask Dean about that, and I've told him that I'm not going to spill the beans on what exactly he has coming up in the future. I'll wait for him to give me the word to tell you folks about his upcoming work and what it's about. He was so kind in telling me that it's something different. I told him that I change my daughter's dirty diapers every day, and that's a different experience. So whatever it is he's got planned, I'm really looking forward to it. What I really like about the way Dean ended Headlocks and Headaches is this is certainly not the end for the Incredible Wrestling Federation. This is like any great TV series that has its finale where certain conflicts are resolved, the characters go off feeling good about themselves and each other, but you know that they're all going to be back the next day. And so it's left to the viewer, or in this case, the reader, to imagine what happens during their continued adventures. And certainly the way that Dean's ended it, he's left it so that he can come back one day and introduce a new status quo, just like you get with Raw after a pay-per-view event, where the very next episode of Raw introduces a whole new status quo for a number of the members of the WWE. There are new conflicts, new storylines to be followed. So I'm really hoping that we'll one day see an issue 4 or maybe a season 2, issue 1 of Headlocks and Headaches. Now, as to why I like Headlocks and Headaches so much. First off, let's talk about the art. Dean's art is very clean. I like the panel layouts. The story flows very smoothly. If you're a more traditional old school comics fan and you prefer the more conventional panel layout with your standard panels, staying away from the abstract layouts. Headlocks and